hello. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Now, I know it's like two of us, but we just gonna act like, because y'all count too. All right, I'm happy y'all here too. So when I say how y'all feeling, then you gonna let me know how y'all feeling. See, you didn't scream all week. You know, well, maybe you did. Maybe at some kids, maybe at a boss, maybe like at the Zoom. Maybe you did all of that, all right? But when we in a crowd, it's our opportunity to like really let it out. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. I go by Omi. I got some awesome guests. Tonight is our first kickoff of Omi and Friends. We're traveling across different cities, but we had to bring it to Chicago first, right? Yes. The city that counts, right? Is that right? That's what I heard. I heard y'all were the best audience. Is that right? All right. So the way the night will go, we're going to have a panel. I'm going to bring up my co-host. I'm going to bring up our featured guests. We're going to have some conversation. Then we'll take a little break, let you get some food. And then we'll come back. We'll watch the film together while you eat a little bit. And then we'll do a talk back after the film about entrepreneurship and open the floor. So if you're a business owner, if you're curious about business, if you have questions about investment, about fundraising, about any of those things, I want you to get those questions in your mind right now and feel free to raise your hand and ask questions later, because tonight is about how we can empower you, help you, support you with BGV, and all the things I learned while building it, all right? All right, so first up, coming to the stage is my co-host for the evening, Chicago's own Dana Todd Pope. Give it up for Dana, y'all. And our featured guest for the evening, the former GMA weekend host, but now host of the national show, Morning in America, Adrienne Bankert. Give it up for Adrienne. Either one, pick a seat. It's okay.
I love this venue.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Southside, where y'all at? I'm in hey,
the
North and West Side and East Side, too. Yeah.
In the building, clearly. I love it. I'm going to kick off a little bit with Dana, just giving her introduction. She's an interdisciplinary artist. I mean, title. So I want you to do, I feel like I couldn't even do it justice, but as my co-host, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dana Todd Pope. I am a Chicago-based interdisciplinary artist. I just learned that term because I do so many things. And, you know, I just thought I was just being an artist. And I found ways to monetize my art. And so I own a couple of businesses, Dana Todd Pope Fine Art and then Fearlessly Hue. Fearlessly Hue is a children's home decor line available on Walmart.com and Amazon.com.
Congratulations.
Thank you, but I'd rather you buy from my website, I'm just saying. And I grew up in Hyde Park. I went to Murray and Kenwood, so I am Chicago official. Somebody out there was telling me she went to Crete. I'm not gonna point out anybody, but y'all know what that means.
Here's the thing. There's a couple cities across the country that are this way, right? Where it's like, wait, what school you go to? We're not talking about college.
Right.
We're talking about what high school. So there's Chicago, Philly's that way. Anywhere that you can actually trace the Great Migration to.
Exactly.
You're pretty much gonna get that question. Like, you might not be welcome there.
Yeah, it's a weed out
I had to have
question.
Dana as my co-host so I could be allowed. You know what I'm saying? I want to, Adrienne, bring you into the conversation. One, I just want to say congratulations on being the first woman of color with a solo national morning show. Y'all give it up for that. Not even first black woman, first woman of color.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. You've interviewed Oprah, you've interviewed Will Smith, you've interviewed some amazing people. Okay, so I have a question for you.
Who do you have a question about?
Who is your favorite, who is your least favorite interview?
I can't tell you the least favorite.
Okay.
I'll just tell you that when you have the least favorite interview, it's not an interview. I mean, it's just checking off boxes because they are so guarded or they are so locked up. And, you know, you can do what you can to open somebody up and warm them up, but if they have had a bad day, or if they're skeptical, or if they're hurt, then, you know, sometimes it just doesn't go the way you want it to go. But favorite interviewees would be Dwayne Johnson. Yeah, he's so sweet.
Over Oprah? Did Oprah float into the room? Did she have a kite? What
You
happened?
know what is amazing? So I've interviewed Oprah on Zoom. I've interviewed her for a live show that she and her network produced, and I've interviewed her in person. And in every instance, she literally has an aura. And like you said, floats into the room. I mean, you're just overtaken by the presence of Oprah Winfrey. So yes, when you ask me favorites, it's really, really challenging. But I thought I would drop DJ's name, The Rock, you know.
Yes.
I mean, because, yes, DJ, as he goes by DJ with his friends.
Okay.
I'm not kidding.
So the first question I always ask people on the Omi Show is, and this is for both of you could be doing anything in the world. You could be climbing mountains. You could be selling the 7 Cs. You could be a doula, birthing children all over America. You could literally be doing anything that you want. Why, Dana, did you choose to be an interdisciplinary artist? Why did you choose to be this media host and go into this career in journalism?
I feel like it chose me. I've known since the age of 3 that I wanted to be an artist. I didn't know all that it entailed. And every day I get up to work, it doesn't feel like work. I feel like I'm almost like cheating people when they pay me for my art because I would have given it to them for free. Wow. Okay, let me rewind that. I like taking money. I like paying bills on time, but I wouldn't do if I won the lottery tomorrow. Someone just asked me this question. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I would still do the same thing. Maybe bigger, but the same thing. Yeah.
That's a beautiful answer. And I don't know a lot of people who can say since the age of 3. Mm-hmm. I knew at the age of 12 that I wanted to pursue a television hosting career. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. It is very challenging. And it was never not a part of my vision. Even as a child, I would be watching TV and saying, I'm supposed to do that. So I think that you can't betray your conscience.
I love that. That's so beautiful. You can't betray your I love that.
Yeah.
So your book, Your Hidden Superpower, the kindness that makes you unbeatable at work and connects you with anyone. I love this because one of the things that we teach our team at BGV is how to use your intuition. And I tell them the reason why I'm giving you training by an intuition coach on how to use your intuition is because then nobody can catch your unique vantage point. We're all having similar thoughts and ideas, so you may be able to create the same business I'm creating, but you can't follow my gut like I can follow my gut.
That's good.
And when you can trust that, it can take you exactly where you're supposed to be. So what would you say, Adrienne, and we'll go Dana, what do you feel like your hidden superpower is?
Well, I mean, for me, when I've been kind, that's when I'm winning. When I've been under pressure and you slip from kindness, that's when I have not had that power. The truth of the matter is that, I think about it when I was tasked with writing the book, it wasn't even my idea. It was my mentor's idea. And he said, you have a different perspective on things, you need to write this book. And when I've had the best interviews of my career, it's when I decided to be kind in a different way than most people would. When you look at someone and they're a really good interviewer, when you see them, it's like, oh, they went to college for that. Oh, they practiced that. But that true authenticity comes out when you're kind, period. And I think that the thing is that we get under pressure. And under pressure, sometimes things can get really tense. So we all need kindness. We all need grace. People are going through things you don't even know what they're going through. And I'm sure that a lot of you in the room, have had a very rough year or 2 or 3. And there have been moments where you're like, man, what am I going to do? Or what is my family member who's going through this going to do? Or what is my parent or my child going through? So I would say that that's the hidden superpower. It helps you to rise above any situation.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good answer. Can you repeat the question? I got all into her answer.
What would you say your hidden superpower is?
Paying it forward. That's part of my just personal philosophy. People help me, and so I always go out of my way to help other people. And it comes back to me, but I don't do it because it comes back. I just do it to help, genuinely, because people genuinely help me. And you just don't know, we fight so hard going through this life and running these businesses, and the little things we pick up and we learn, you just don't realize how much impact you can have on somebody who's been searching for their answer for 3 years. And then you just say, oh, well, I know somebody, let me connect you. And you walk away and they come back and they say, oh, that was everything that I needed. Thank you so much, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, we really have to, I think you taught me this in co-working during COVID. You know more than you think you do. And it's really important that you share what you know with your fellow entrepreneurs, especially us Black women in business. A lot of times we work alone. And we don't reach out for help when we need it. And so it's very important that when someone does say that they need something, that you're there if you can be. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So good.
Adrienne, you talked a little bit about pressure. And I could imagine that when people say, like, oh, the first woman of color with a national morning show, like, that's like, oh, my God, yay. And then on the other end, I'm also thinking, wow. That's something to hold, something to balance, something to uphold. What has it been like, being like having the title and then having to uphold the title?
It's been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I will say that. It's absolutely the hardest. And I think that what I would say to everybody is you want to reach out to those people who you see doing something. Not only do you want to accept the help, like Dana was talking about, and to look for people to support you, but when you see somebody who's doing something, reach out to them, because you do not know how high a mountain they're climbing and how much oxygen they need, and you might have their oxygen tank. Because the thing is, it can look like it's all about the person who's on camera, but there's all these different elements. You know what I'm saying? And the success of this show is not about me. It's about these stories that I get to tell. And I always said that was my focus. There was a young lady who, I think I might have written about it in my book. She's 12 years old. She founded a nonprofit with her sister when they were like 8 and 10 to dig wells in other countries for fresh water for communities. Little girls, with their parents' help, obviously. And I wrote her mission statement down. I wish I would have brought it, but it said, this is why I do what I do. I do it so that the people who are in need around the world who don't have a microphone, that I can hold it for them. And so I think that's been the focus the whole time, is just putting everyday people on TV. When I meet people like yourself, I'm thinking, okay, how come I haven't put them on TV yet? Because it was a mandate for me to have stories of kindness, stories of positivity every single day. On the news, and to have people who are on the staff who had that same heartbeat. And so, it's about putting the focus on someone other than yourself. And you can feel the weight of the world, and it's too much for one person. So, I'm using it and I'm kind of pivoting to say, if you know somebody who's doing big things, if you know somebody who's a first, because all of us in this room could say that we were one of only, right? We were the only one in our neighborhood. We were the only one on our block, or we were the only one in our classroom. And we need each other. And even if that person seems like they're deflecting, like they're putting walls up, try to break those walls down with kindness, because they need your back just like somebody who is in need, just like somebody who was hungry. Because what we're doing, what we're endeavoring to do when we're breaking walls is some of the most taxing work we will ever do.
It's so interesting you should say that, because a couple years back, there was a woman who, she was making these notebooks with images of little Black girls on it, and it went viral. And she got picked up by national news, and so I'm like, oh, I have a little girl. I'm like, I'm gonna go to this website and I'm gonna buy some notebooks. And everything was sold out. And I thought to myself, at first, when you see that, you're like, oh, that's dope. Like, she's killing it. And then I thought, wait a minute. If she sold out, she might be in trouble. So I sent her a DM, and I was like, hey, like, I went to your website and I saw that everything was sold out. Like, are you okay? Do you need help? And she had told me that they were literally like buying like Mead notebooks from the store, like screwing off the covers and screwing on her covers.
Because she just needed to fill orders.
Yes.
And she was totally overwhelmed. And you
Yes.
knew that. That's kindness. See, that's a victory to me because you follow that intuition that you're talking about.
You have to. It's so important. And so, Dana, I want to ask you about that because I know you like grown like so huge. Like you now are you've done a show with Tina. Lord, why can I think of her name?
The wearable art auction with
Tina Knowles.
Miss Tina, yeah.
Yes. And
You
then
know.
I know you did, then you went into Walmart.
Yeah.
What was that experience like going into
It was
Walmart?
a big deal. That's an inside joke. That was really interesting. So as a self-taught artist, I'm not an academic artist. I've just always created art. I really didn't have a lot of support growing up. You know, in our communities, you know, we don't always look at art as a real job. But I just knew in my heart, like, that's the only thing for me. You know, even when I did have other types of jobs, I only did them so I could learn something to put into the art. I was always very focused. But yeah, I mean, I've gone through a lot in the last 2 years. When COVID happened and the world stopped, I said, okay, now I'm gonna catch up. And when I tell you, I got an email from I still don't know who invited me to come to Black Girl Ventures co-working. And I went in there and there were these Black women with bonnets on and taking braids down, talking about $1 million business deals. and Miss Omi here with purple lipstick and blue lipstick. I was like, where have you all been my whole life? These are my for real people. And I just felt so at home in that group. And I'd been a part of other groups before. And they just, you know, felt a little sedity, felt a little inauthentic. But this group, these were and to this day, I still go to co-working. And my girls, we met up in multiple cities. But what was your question again? Because I get excited talking about BGB. Like, I love me some BGB.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, one of the things I always tell people are like, oh my God, you know, thank you so much for your work. And I'm like, but you had to say yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying yes. And like, I thank you. I'm able to do the work that I feel like is my destiny in the world because you are saying, I'm saying yes to that. And if you're saying yes to the help, then I got you.
Yeah.
You know, like that. It's
That's
just
kindness
that
because that's being kind to yourself. You know, a lot of times we're so resistant to change. And for people to be open to the help, to receive the help is kindness to yourself and to your destiny.
I mean, to that point, receiving actually feels harder.
Yeah.
It does.
For a lot of people, a lot of women, right? Because we
Yeah.
think we're supposed to be superwoman. We can talk about superpowers all day, but I mean, Superwoman, the thing that you have shown, even just in this short conversation, is that you both were partners with each other. You allowed that space to happen in a world where, you know, that isn't always manifest. So thank you for being a picture of that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's beautiful, really.
Yeah, it's honestly the way that I feel BGB, like we all celebrate each other, right? So there are these environments where people are all competitive, like, how'd she get to Walmart? It's like, oh my God, you got to Walmart, girl. When is your stuff going on sale? We're about to all go purchase and support you and write reviews. Like, that's the energy that I feel like you come with and you set the tone. And I was looking for that. I couldn't find it, and I found it. And now I pay it forward. I pay that energy forward. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm going to the pitch competition in LA next month because my girl is in it. So it's just, that's the energy we come with. We really, you know, we support each other. And I'm saying all of that to say you're not alone. I know it's lonely. You feel like you're alone, but you're not alone. Like, we're all here to support each other. And I think if we really open ourselves up to that more so, then we would be a lot further along. So,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, so
100%.
true.
And what Dana's speaking to is social capital,
Yes.
right? And like how it's like everybody's focused on financial capital. We need money. We do need money. Don't get me wrong, we do.
Omi.
Right?
Omi money, yes. Yeah.
There you go. When people always like, oh, what's your name? I'm like, Omi. And I'm like, you owe me money. Just remember that. In your journey, Adrienne, I can imagine there's been people who have given that kindness to you. Is there anyone or any story in particular that you can remember that has been like a really big part of your journey?
Well, there's been several. I mean, and I brought a couple of books, so I'll either give them to you or you can give them away, whatever you want. But I had mentoring for years, heavy mentoring. And that was such an important part of my journey. It helped keep me stable and anchored. I don't know how people go through life without a tour guide. You know, you'll get a tour guide. I say you'll get a tour guide if you go to an amusement park, you know, or you'll get a tour guide if you go to a country that you've never been to. Like, oh, we're going to go to Nepal and we're going to have a, Sherpa. But then life can be as much of a cliffhanger or more. I think that most of us have gone through so many things that we could say it's more dangerous to live our lives than it is to just go explore another country. And yet we'll pay more attention to our vacation planning than we will to our life. But there was a really interesting time in my life when I was leaping. I was taking a leap between cities. And a lot of times when you are a very ambitious woman and driven, you will just jump without a net. And I was thankful because a woman that I met at the very beginning of my career, she called up someone who was a general manager of a TV station and said, I want you to hire Adrienne just based on her reputation. Just, that's it. Not her resume, just based on what I know about her. And because of her kindness, because she vouched for me, it opened a huge door, which led to ABC News and then to Good Morning America. But it was because of someone else's word, not mine. It was because of someone else's proof, not mine. And I think that when you have people who are willing to open the doors for you, see, you think you're cute when you're younger. You do. You think you're like really talented and people should know I'm one of a kind. Yes, you are. That's true. But it's not, and I had to learn this as I got older. It's not based on you're so gifted. It's based on someone saw you and said, I'm going to give that person a chance. That's really why that opened that door for you. It's not because you're all that. It's not because you're the smartest person. It's not because you're the best. It's because someone saw you and said, I'm going to give a person a chance because I needed a chance. And I mean, I have a number of stories, but I hope that answers your question fully.
Yes, it does. Well, we have a few more minutes with Adrienne. Any questions from the audience?
When does your show, what network and when, so we can support?
So we can put you on TV.
Okay.
Get your products on. Come on, Walmart.
Yes, we have to do that. Okay.
Yes, I would love to put you on. In fact, anything that I can do to support, the truth of the matter is that the show is only as good as the content we deliver and the people we put on. Really, if it's not about everyday people doing positive things, we could talk for hours about the bad things that are going on in the world. And unfortunately, we have to, and it's really hard to. But the thing that I've really insisted on, almost to a strict degree, is that we put on everyday people who are doing something that's worthwhile and a positive thing. We air on a network called News Nation, which is a new cable network. It's based here in Chicago, but it's national. Thank you for that one hand clap. Nice to have Chicago has a national network. A lot of people don't know that. It's in Roscoe Village, to be specific. The company that owns us bought WGN. Yeah, and they bought a number of stations around the country. We air here locally from 6 to 9 a.m. every single weekday, Monday through Friday. And I had cards, and I don't think I brought them. Shoot, I should have. I apologize. But if you go to newsnationnow.com, it'll tell you where your channel is. If you do not have cable, we are on Hulu and YouTube TV.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
everybody got something.
Non-cable? People that don't have cable?
Right.
Yes, agreed. I'm with you.
Yes.
All right, Hulu. I'm going to be watching from my mom, too.
But seriously, feel free to reach out to me, because the least I can do is to support any one of you who is doing something. Seriously, and I mean that. And I think that we need to do more of that to make sure that we have representation and to make sure that the stories are told, because you're worthy.
Yes! That's a great note to end the panel on. I don't even feel like I want to say anything after that. That was great energy. It's been so lovely to have you here with us, Adrienne. We really appreciate you sharing.
You both have inspired me and have made me, have opened my eyes. And I'm so grateful that and honored that you would have me on, seriously. Thank you for being good people.
Yes.
I can tell people are successful, and success, there's highs and lows in our character development, but really, I'm telling you, I can tell both of you are good people.
I just want to say I'm proud of you. That's it. I'm proud of you, and I will support. I know we cannot see all of everything that went into you being where you are, so I'm proud of you. Woman to woman, black woman to black woman, I'm proud of you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, genuinely.
Well, we're going to take a quick... Oh, you want to ask one question? Because I do have to let Adrienne go. One question.
Can you guys talk about mentorship, like selecting your mentor, specifically not necessarily someone that's tied to where you're looking to go? Maybe you meet someone and you just like their vibe and they're older or whatever it is that attracts you to them, and you connect with them. How do you build on that?
You ask, would you mentor me? A closed mouth does not get fed, and I'm very bold about. I have mentors and I have mentees. I'm very bold about when I meet someone that I feel I can learn from, I let them know and I ask the question. But yeah, just don't be. Listen, life is not long. You cannot be shy about what you're going after. You have to just be tenacious, and And if they say no, that might not be the person for you, or it might just be not right now. You don't know what they have going on, but I would just ask the question.
Yeah. And I think for me, I would say, you said it doesn't necessarily have to be tied to the industry that you work in. That's 100% true. I've had mentors in and out of the industry. I think that the key and the biggest kindness you can do to yourself is to find someone who has character traits of someone that you want to be. Because if you are talented, that's great. If you can perform, that's awesome. But you're gonna have to have something more to stand. And you wanna find people who have the qualities of people that you always wanted to be. Diane von Furstenberg, I quote her in the book. I talk about mentoring in my book too. And she said, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew the kind of woman I wanted to be. And that just inspired me so much. And you can have somebody, I will tell you one thing. Find somebody you can't say no to. Because we are by habit resistant. We are by habit independent. You might need to find 3 mentors you can't say no to so they can corral you. Just make sure that you stay on track. But yeah, look for somebody you can't say no to, that you just absolutely love to say yes to. And then remember that when you are being mentored, you're also a gift to that mentor, because it's an encouragement when someone is investing in your life that you're actually receiving from them. Remember that you're part of the equation. So don't think it's just one-sided.
I would say that sometimes people were mentoring me, they didn't know it.
Yeah.
I think that they were, because sometimes you ask people and the title will be like, ooh, I don't want to commit if I can't give you everything, my all. And so there were times where I just gleaned information in ways that was easy for them, depending on what I needed. So I would, send emails, long emails, and they would answer them. And I would be patient for the answer to come back. Or it could have been text messages, and I'm like, I'm just trying to figure this one thing out. Because it's one thing that I've learned about Black women entrepreneurs specifically, is that the majority of the time, you just need the answer right then, let you go try it. You're gonna come back, you're gonna need another answer. Let you go try it. You don't really, I don't know what everybody needs, but from my experience, it hasn't been that you needed somebody every day or like every week, and so sometimes the word mentorship can scare certain busy people that want to do right by you. So I would just say there's been times when people didn't know they was on my team, but they was on my team.
Yeah.
They didn't know they was my advisors, but they was my advisors. So I would say, like, if you can identify, the people that they've named.
I have asked that question before. I didn't say, would you be my mentor? I said, do you mind if I call you from time to time if I have a question? I have done that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like you don't want to jump so fast.
Yeah.
You want to kind of warm it up.
We can't get married right away.
Right.
Okay, we need to date a little bit.
Yeah, I like I think that's a smarter approach. But like Omi was saying, books can be your mentor. Reading, following somebody's podcast can be your mentor.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. Thank y'all so much for being a great audience. Thank you, Adrienne.
Thank
for being
you,
here.
Dana and Omi and all of you. Thank you.
Dana's my co-host all night, so she can be kicking it with me. But thank you so much, Dana, for your answers and sharing so openly. So, Morning in America on newsnationnow.com.
Go to newsnationnow.com. You can find your channel.
All right. So
or your Hulu or your YouTube situation. And every morning, 6 to 9 a.m.
6 to 9 a.m. We're going to be tuning in.
Yes,
and get the book, Your Hidden Superpower, the kindness that makes you unbeatable at work and connects you with anyone.
Yes, thank you.
Give it up for Adrienne, y'all.
Thank you, guys.
And Dana. Wait, y'all can do better than that. All right, yes. Okay, now you can eat. The mural is in D.C. at Union Market. It's on the large side of the building facing Gallaudet. So if you're ever in D.C., go over to Union Market and look for the mural. We actually have two. So we have a Community of Nothing mural as well over in Brookland in the Arts District. And then we have this one, which is another like a group of Black women entrepreneurs, all of Black women entrepreneurs. Okay, we had a question right here, then a question in the back too.
Hi, I just wanted to know if you approached Nike or did they approach you?
Yeah, great question. So the story of how we got to Nike is maybe a year before the murder of George Floyd, my board chair at that time, she said, "We gonna get money from Nike." And I said, "Okay, girl." And so she sent a cold email over, and she's one of those kind of people. Like, she'll send a cold email, she'll send a cold LinkedIn DM, and we never heard anything back. And so when, after the murder of George Floyd and people were doing all this outpouring and making announcements and that kind of thing, she was like, "I'm gonna reach out again." And so she sent another email, and through like multiple chains of communication, we ended up on a call. And the call was like, "Tell me your story." And so I told my story about how I started BGV and all the things. And then she was like, "Okay." And so she's like, "I'm gonna take this back." And so we had another call. And I want to share this part of the story because this is so key. So when we were talking, she's like, "Okay, well, we know we want to grant to you." But she asked me a really key question. Like, how much money could we grant to you without sinking you? And the reason why that was a realistic question is because sometimes when we think about like, "Oh, just give me all the money," right? But money management, especially in a nonprofit, is of extreme importance. So we had to, through this process of just like all the people who were outpouring, we upped our money management game. But you have to spend all the money when you get it in a nonprofit fashion. It's a little different from when you get it for a for-profit. And so it was such a great question. I said, give me $500,000. And because for me, I'm like, I'm gonna build this relationship. Like, this is not gonna be it, right? And so that initial $500K they gave us, they ended up giving us another $500K. And then we also got like $1.5 million in like doing the pitch competition that we did, plus all the ads they run. They increased our our YouTube presence. They like 3X that. Like our following on Instagram, like all the things that they poured in through ads. They put us in a Nike app. I did like NBA on TNT. I got my own mural and my own billboard, like right on the other side of Serena. In a campaign that they did. I was in this commercial with Serena. Like, I mean, it was a surreal opportunity, to be honest with you.
And I saw the whole thing like going down. I saw the whole glow up, and it was like, wow.
It was, and I was coming back and sharing with them, like, "Y'all just had this meeting," you know what I mean? Which is what I love about like the community pieces, because I'm a person that made up something. I made all this up. That's what like, I made it all up, all right? So, so don't think you're crazy. Like, you making up something, just know you good, right? Just keep going with it. Stick to what you made up. But it was important for me to just be like, y'all, look, this is what he said. This is how we said it. This is how it went. Because nobody told me that. So in a lot of these meetings, like during the murder of George Floyd, like after that, I was in meetings from like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. to maybe like 6 or 7 p.m. catching people from the West Coast just calling us. We want to give you money. But we still had to have all of our ducks in a row. It wasn't always like, I guess the way sometimes it may feel like people just handing out money without thinking about it. Nah, we was being asked deep questions. It was a fun raising spree. And so it was great to have the community to go back to and be like, y'all, this is what I learned in this call. This is how they saying it. This is what those are things I'm like, I want to share with everybody because that's stuff that nobody told me. So anyway, that was a long way of saying that's how the relationship went. And we still have a relationship with them. In fact, they are the sponsor for Chicago. In the back, you had a question?
Was it?
No, she had a question, right? And then we have one up here next.
Hi. So my name is Aaliyah. I actually was a applicant for the Change Makers, Change Agent, I'm sorry, last year. And unfortunately, of course, I didn't get selected. But I just, like, literally, like, this moment right here is, like, really full circle and surreal for me because I am here in person with you. And I just wanted to, really just ask you, like, what advice would you give me here right now, like, in order for me to go back? Because I do intend to apply again. And, yeah, I just want to know, like, what advice would you give me next time in order to, get selected?
Yeah, great question. Will you have any application tips, Dana? Pitch competitions, grant application pitch tips. Like, what's some tips you would say about? Because I'm asking you that because filling out an application for anything is intimidating, right?
Yeah.
And then I think like having to go through a process sometimes feels like it might be about you. What I'll share is that it's never really singular in these processes. It's a full-on competition because you're reading multiple applications, you're interviewing multiple people, and it may have just been that the cap hit at a point right before you. It's like unfortunate. Like, I'm just being really transparent just about applying for things in general. Still apply though. Don't not apply.
Yeah.
But anything you've learned as you've been.
I've learned a lot I didn't apply for anything before I joined BGB, and just watching women win grants and them talking about it. Actually watching the pitch competitions on YouTube helped me learn the language that I needed to put into my grant applications. I never thought about it, but just watching people pitch the way that they would approach things, social capital, I can't think of any words right now because I'm on stage, but the ecosystem, the community impact, the economic impact, the impact that your business has on other businesses in your community, things like that. Just learning how to put that into a grant application made me successful. And I've also learned not to take anything personal, right? So there are these grants, and there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of people fighting for the same $5,000. You cannot take it personal. You just keep writing grants. I have it down to a science. I save all my answers. I save all my answers in a Google Doc accessible from my phone and laptop. And, I might tweak it depending on the grant, but I can fill out a 3-hour grant application in 20 minutes because I've done the work though. And I also have a cohesive vision for my business, and just doing it, repetition, right? You learn, you get better, you grow, but also just feeding myself, learning the words of the day, social impact, all the stuff, creating jobs, the stuff you got to throw in there to make it sound good. Y'all didn't hear that from me. But,
hey, look, we came to give you the truth of the matter. But I think in terms of Black Girl Venture, so a couple of things about our programs if you didn't know. So we have the BGV Pitch, we have the Change Agent Fellowship, and then we have a Next Gen program for HBCU students. And so the Change Agent program, the fellowship, it's a 9-month program. It comes with a $10,000 stipend. And it is a leadership development program, and it's about understanding your ecosystem and how to navigate it. The Next Gen program comes with a $5,000 stipend, and it's for students between the ages of 18 and 24. It's a 8-week accelerator, so it's fast-paced. BGV Pitch has 2 times a week accept applications. So in the spring, we typically would have an industry vertical or a national competition. In the fall, that competition is city-based on where the fellowships are. So we do open applications, but it's based on where the fellowships are. And so that's how that one works. Pitch application, real quick feedback. The one thing that people always mix up is what problem does your business seek to solve? A lot of times people start telling us what their problems are. Not what every business solves a problem, okay? People need to open doors have doorknobs. Like, that's how I want you to think of it.
I am here today and I am overwhelmed with joy. I am the owner of the South Chicago Entrepreneurial Hub on 92nd and Commercial. I'm the mother of 5 who are all pursuing careers as entrepreneurs. If they're not already in it, they're on their way, they're working towards that. So I wanted to ask you, because we're talking about that defining moment, what was that defining moment when you realized you were an entrepreneur?
Lord. I don't even know. I done tried so many things. I done sold vacuum cleaners. I done been a nanny. I called myself a private eye at one point, different store for a different day. I did performance poetry. I launched my own art organization. I launched a teepee in my living room and I rented out on Airbnb. I launched a print shop. Like, honestly, at this point, I don't even feel like I can remember, like, the defining moment. I would say that I've never been a great employee. And so every time I'm in a meeting, I'm like, I don't think we should do that. That's not what we should do. I think we should do this other thing. And they like, ma'am, we can't, you know what I mean? So that's really why, and I think I had experiences where, like many of us probably have, where I said a great idea and it wasn't taken seriously until a white woman agreed with me, or, and I was like, I'm not doing that, and I think I got laid off twice, back to back, and I went home and I called California Sidekicks. I'm about to tell y'all this story another time, okay? And I was like, ma'am, what is that in my life? Oh my God. And the lady, she was like, when you find the thing you want to do, the money will come. And I was engaged at that time. She was like, you're not going to be with that guy.
I hope you kept her information, because she was spot on.
No, they ain't worked the second time I called. The second time I called, and then I didn't get the right lady. I need to get that other lady back. So ultimately, I just started trying stuff and tripping through stuff. But I would say, like, that's when I knew I was never going back to a job at that point. Oh, wait, it was her. Yeah, I'm sorry. They gonna kick us out. Y'all trying to... Look, I don't live here. I gotta be welcome back.
Hi, so my name is Bettina. I'm not even sure how I got, it was a blessing, how I even got added on to this email to even come to this event. But of course, before we even started, I got a chance to talk to some of these ladies, and it was beautiful. I needed this information. I live in Chicago now. I started my own business. I'm dealing with food and liquor. Okay, so my question is that who is the right person or the right direction to talk to about getting the right permits, getting the right licenses? Like I had an LLC, and talking with this young lady, she told me like LLC might not be what you need, so it was that kind of stuff where I'm like, wait, she didn't told me something I didn't know. I thought you supposed to get an LLC.
Have you been through any incubators in
No.
the city?
I haven't.
So I would say contact Sunshine Enterprises.
Okay.
And go through their cohort. They'll help you write a business plan, but they also provide mentorship during the class and after, so you don't have to make costly mistakes like organizing your business under the wrong thing.
Okay.
Also, Kenya Merritt at the City of Chicago. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up.
Okay, what we'll do is, but let me say this. Every time we have these, everything you need is in the room. Raise your hand if you do something in marketing. There you go, bam. People need marketing, bam, there you go. Raise your hand if you just do any coaching or mentoring. Bam, there you go, look at that. You got people mentoring. So you know what I mean? Like, this is what I love. I'm so glad we get to be in person. But this is what I love about these types of events is like everything you need is typically in the room. So Sunshine Enterprise, you got that, and then
Kenya Merritt.
Kenya Merritt.
She's the Chief Small Business Officer for the City of Chicago, and she's very passionate about us and our businesses.
Okay, I got one more question that we could take. Tomorrow, right here, same bat time, same bat channel, 6 p.m., is that right, y'all? All right, is the BGV pitch competition. So if you want to see it live and in action, we'll have women from Chicago in here pitching their business, and the audience actually gets to vote on who wins, a crowd favorite, but then you also get to vote with your dollars to help fund these Black and Brown women founders. Follow us at Black Girl Ventures. You can follow me because I'm funny. At Omi Bell on Instagram. And if you have SiriusXM, my show airs every Sunday at noon on SiriusXM Urban View, channel 126. We'll also be putting out a video show, so you'll be able to look at it on YouTube. So, but if you follow me on Instagram, it's the best place to get the information from.
Great. I'm Ebony, CEO and co-founder of Rich Hunty Energy, and I just have one quick question. Is there any advice you would give business owners to strategically prepare themselves for a funding path?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I know, right? Lord have mercy. Okay, couple quick things. Get to know your business deeply. Okay, so I think sometimes it's not enough to just need money or want it. You really got to know what you're wanting it for. Like, just alignment, I guess is the best word, right? Sometimes, and go for it, by the way, because you're gonna learn along the way. Like, you're gonna get feedback, and then you're gonna go, oh, I didn't think of that. And then some of the feedback, you can be like, psh. Just know that, like, while you're out raising funding, a no means a few things. It's not the right time, it's not the right person, it's not the right ask. Don't automatically attribute it to something being wrong with you. Right? And no's look different. No's look like no follow-up, no callbacks. No's look like actual no's. And then sometimes no's look like, well, can I get back to you? Because I think I'm going to connect you to X, Y, and Z. Make sure you follow up on every time somebody says, I'm going to connect you to X, Y. You want to talk to X, Y, and Z. Okay? Every time. So your follow-up game has to be strong. Use tech tools like Boomerang or project management software like Asana or Airtable or Trello to like really, really keep your eyes on the flow of funders. That's what I can say right now in a short amount of time. All right, we got it. We do have it. I want to thank y'all. Give it up for Dana.
Thanks. Follow me on Instagram too.
That's some art.
Yeah, Dana Todd Pope, DanaToddPope, Dana Plato, Todd Bridges met the Pope. Don't forget it. Follow me. And thank you so much for having me, Omi. This is actually only the second time we've hung out in person, but we've been talking for over 2 years online. It's been a great pleasure just being here tonight with all of you. And I know it's some millionaires in here with me, so I can't wait to watch the glow up.
Shout out to all the Omi homies. If you were Omi homie before you came, yes. You are now Omi homie now that you are here and you watch the show, all right, live. Thank you so much for coming out. Oh, you know what? Me and you. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? All right. Y'all have a great night. Meet somebody that you didn't meet before you got here. Always important to network. Y'all get home safe. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow if you can come. All right.